there's a technique that we do that's kind of fun where we have to talk to each other. Anyway, nobody will want to sit next to me.
No, they will. I remember.
We're gonna just take a moment, have a partner. So 2, 2, and 2, and just explain 2. You can start, and then Carrie and April. We're gonna start and just say your name, say just a sentence or two about yourself, and say a little bit about what you learned today. And if you have any questions, I'll time you for 2 minutes, and then we'll switch, and then the other person will do the same thing. Now you didn't.
I watched all the videos. So.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Well, perfect. Yeah. Okay. And this is just a good technique for, as you know, for any kind of learning to have to regurgitate it, for lack of a better word, to have to take what you heard and then express it to someone else. It's not about being perfect. It's just simply about what did you get from it. There's not a test. You don't have to say the right things, but what was your impression and feel from what has gone on in the first couple sessions of this weekend? Okay, it could be from the class. It could be from Friday night. It could be from the session that we had earlier today. Okay. We got to have snacks April 9th because at 2:30 they brought in snacks, and you can talk about the snacks. They're pretty impressed with them.
So are we gonna do it individually or just like one at a time?
So she, and she. We'll start talking in your 2.
So we're just like
Just like a conversation.
one-on-one. Okay.
And I will time you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
What about you?
Okay, so again, I'm April, growing up, and let's see. So about 2 minutes, right? How much? How much? Yes. I loved the relaxation. And I just felt extremely uncomfortable. I could feel my cheeks going back. Last I'm actually going to and see if I was fascinated with the description of just the different parts of the body, the C1, C2, C3, or how she was about the rib. When I was like touching my rib and going down lower, I'm like, just kind of like the motion. I found it very fascinating. And I think I'm done. What do you think? What's up with the minutes?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I missed the 2-minute mark. So,
You have 38 more seconds.
okay. Oh, you have 38 more seconds.
I don't know if it's going to be snacks, but
I didn't know there was snacks. Did I just
during a meeting with the yoga instructors, but I sat back to my husband, if you're going to more on 5 miles. So I just waited and I had coffee, and then the owner, she said, "Do you want some food?" Sure. But I was just listening to my audio.
So you didn't hear the meeting?
No, and I wasn't trained to listen to it. So that's very private.
But what do the instructors talk about?
I don't know. You could ask. Well, she said it. That's her.
Well, I learned a lot this weekend. Really
You
like
can switch now if you'd like, or you can keep talking.
Dr. Ian's presentation because I have kind of a science background, and so getting to like my understanding of muscles
breakfast at 7 a.m.
felt
From,
really
And then
neat. And
12
like
the
my
rest.
bachelor's degree wasn't for nothing.
I feel like
It was really interesting to hear about this stuff. Yeah, I had knee surgery in Spain. My knees hurt. Yes. And they shaved some of the scar tissue.
yeah, a lot of
When she
Yeah.
I hope that maybe I can get back into running.
Okay.
Was like, I came to the this morning.
I was
I feel like, well, and this morning we did folder pose where you put your ankle on top of your
now. That would be really
Yes. Yes. And what Debbie was sharing is that if you put a bridge on your foot,
When you say bridge, what techniques?
like yeah, so if you put this part
So I did it
outside underneath, it can kind of create a bow in your leg. And then it puts pressure on your knee instead of it's like putting pressure on the outside. So it's better to put the ankle on top of the knee instead.
Okay, so like that.
Yeah, and then have flexion in the foot, like how you would have.
Oh, like that. This.
Yeah, and then that protects your knee long term. So I had never known that. And there is the toe and where you place the ankle or the foot. Yes. Oh my gosh. They're like,
Yeah.
And so you really enjoy that. And hope you're
yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. The steps.
Love Mariah's today too. It was really nice. I think in my own practice, I'm gonna be a yoga teacher to start out because that was what I've really been enjoying. Yin yoga.
So,
Yin is your relaxation. Yeah, my understanding is you hold each pose for about 90 seconds to really get that deep stretch, whereas flow is more of like
yeah, I've done it too. Like,
yeah.
okay. That's what Marcy does.
Okay, that's what Chickney does too.
Here we go. All right. Yeah, I just could kind of hear what you guys were saying. It is nice to have a recording because then we can go ahead and repetition is so important. Repetition is important in all of life for us, because anybody learning anything. And Sally was giving more good tips on that. Because she told me, don't be afraid to repeat things because people only pick up. If you say something 10 times, they might remember it only if you maybe 5 things. So. Speaking of memory, now we're going to do one more little exercise. So each of you will say one thing that you learned from the person that was talking, okay? So Mariah, what did you learn from Sean? But different, maybe you hadn't thought from what he was talking
Maybe there's different ways to look at things that both things can be correct.
about. Yeah, that's cool.
Mariah mentioned the lengthening the spine, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good reminder. And then how supportive she feels with her.
Oh, good. Yay. That's what we're here for. That's really important. And the 2 spaces that you've been in, and of course, Thrive. By the way, Mariah helped me teach a class there once because Angela needed somebody to come in, somebody couldn't do it or whatever. And so Mariah came and helped me teach a kind of I guess we're sort of yin-ish slow movement class. But anyway, all three of these spaces I think are very cozy and nice. And so, yeah, it's important to have a place that feels safe, as we keep going back to safe and be supported in what we do. So, yeah. And I imagine that did feel good to have people there. Some people came just to do that for you.
Yes.
Like share.
I almost cried. I saw Cheryl. I was like, keep it together.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was going to come. So I just we did yoga, Debbie's class on Wednesdays together. It was just me and her sometimes.
Yeah, for about a year or something. Almost. People just quit coming, which it's the most gorgeous space. It's the most gorgeous. It's another great studio. It kind of petered out a little bit, and then it was sometimes we just the three of us or four of us. Sometimes my husband would be there too. So you got to be really good friends. All right, what about you? What is something?
Well, it was kind of, she went second. We were talking about how in the anatomy lecture, specifically from Dr. Jacqueline Cooper's.
Oh, you mean on the
Yeah,
yeah.
because she wasn't at the, how important it is to meet people where they're at with their bodies
Yeah.
and like feet alignment. It's not super critical. And there's reasons why maybe somebody has a foot out or whatever. And then just bringing that back to like the perfectionist in me.
Yeah.
And how that's something that I have to like be reminded of.
Yeah. It is important, and there are a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have taken this training that come from very, yeah, you got to do this, and even just other aspects, just life.
Yeah.
People just happen to be more very. I need to know exactly what I'm supposed to do, and you do have to have that attitude of kind of going with the flow. Not that you just don't have parameters, right? That you're open to things being, the human body is not the same in everybody. It's not a controlled experiment. So, yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. Carrie reminded me or shared something that Angela had shared that made so much sense about the spine and how the 7, 12, and 5 on your cervical, lumbar, and sacral is the bottom part. Yeah, the 7 a.m., 12 a.m. and
Yeah.
or 12 p.m. and then 5 p.m.
Breakfast arranging.
Yeah. Well, good. It's good to remember, and it's really important to understand how each of those parts of your spine work, which I'm sure Angela talked a lot about. But I really didn't get that in some of my first teacher trainings. People just said twist, and you're really trying to just crank the whole thing. It's like in transverse plane, and that can cause a lot of problem and a lot of confusion. Yeah, a lot of pain. So
knowing that 5% range of motion in your lower back like makes so much sense now.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's like, no wonder.
Yeah,
no wonder my hips. So why would I force them?
Yeah. We're not made to look like this. Yeah. We take this with us in both directions.
Well, because you don't
know.
know. You don't know if it's because you're not flexible or your body's not meant to do that.
It has to be you, of course.
Exactly.
It could be. So we always adapt opposed to the person and not vice versa.
I can't remember if it was one of the videos with Angela or Jacqueline, but talking about like twists and using our elbows to crank on something, like using our elbow and turning rather than using our core. And that stood out really well.
Good, because it's just so important. And in the early days of yoga training, I keep talking about we would be pushing. Yeah, people would be pushing on us. Yeah, and just come on, you can do it, or standing, sitting, all that stuff. My first classes were in Iyengar, and then my next foray into practice was Ashtanga, and they're both very, very pushy. You have to do it this way, So, but I'm not saying anything bad about either of those. I love both of them. I actually feel like I can mix both of them. So, thank you. And April.
So working with Mimi and listening to her, I learned this morning, which I
I wasn't able to join, but I'll listen to the recording. The stretch of putting the ankle, above the knee instead of doing the bridge of the foot, so it doesn't put stress like you did before, right?
Mhm.
Are we doing it?
Yep.
Yeah, she can bring it up. I'll get there. Really enjoyed that. And you were telling me about when you do want to open your practice, that you would really like to focus on yin, just like Mariah taught,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And you really like that.
Yes.
Right after you guys left, I had a meeting with the people that teach at, it's 1:30 to 2:30 meeting, the people that are going to be teaching at that Boise River Yoga. And it was so funny because I don't know if you could overhear this, April, because April was sitting in that room waiting, but quite a few of them said that's what they're really drawn towards. And a lot of them said because they are kind of type A-ish people originally, and when they found yin, it was just like, oh, finally, I really get to just relax. Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to admit this, but that's exactly
Yeah.
like so much of life feels so like you've got to be on your game all the time that yin yoga feels like a moment of peace.
Yeah. I think I told you this, but in case I didn't, I know I was talking to one of you guys, Kathleen, who it was a 300-hour graduate. She graduated, but she was an MD, and she was very type A, and just, she was a little bit, when she first got into the program, I'm just saying, this is being recorded, I know, but when she first got into the program, she was a little bit like, because sometimes I can be a little like, whatever, and it was a little bit like driving her crazy, and then she's like, oh, okay, we don't have one same answer for every single thing. We want to have a range of possibilities, and then as you grow, you get more knowledge of how people move, you get more knowledge of people in class, you observe more, then you can maybe even narrow that down and have some specific things. But there's always going to be a new situation, a new thing. So you have to be able to go with the flow a little bit. Although, it's that balance of Stuka and Stira again. Stira, you do the work, you have a toolbox with you, but then you have to be a little bit like, I may not be able to answer that question, or I may have to go back and rethink some of this stuff. So yeah, that's and then she's the one who developed the yin program for that was a 300-hour project. Yeah, so people that are in the 300-hour program put together a project. It could be something, or they can do other things. Some people have done art projects. Some people have put on little plays. Some people have written things. So it's kind of like a master's thesis or a dissertation. You do research, and you have the what's the word, latitude to go to different sources for your research, and then you present it.
Sounds so cool.
Yeah, it is. So good. So
I didn't share it yet.
oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
What April shared with me, similar things. Dr. Young's class yesterday had a lot of meaningful information for her as well. But something that stood out to me is for April that this program has already developed connections and opened up to resources like chiropractic adjustments, for instance.
Yeah.
So yoga just it transcends beyond yoga and goes into like connections with other people and other resources in the community. So I thought that was cool that it's not just yoga.
Yeah, it's very interdisciplinary, and again, that's why all three of these studios, that's kind of part of their thing, their mission statement or whatever. That it's not. We shouldn't be a closed. Is that the cards? Do you want to show it?
Oh no, I'm just saying I got their business cards for
Yeah.
the studio we were just at,
Yeah,
trauma work, and obviously the yoga studio. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's a really small. No, thank you for doing that because it's a very small studio like this one as well, and it's well, you were there, but there's 6 teachers, and we all got in a circle explaining where we were coming from, and everybody was about that healing in some way and connecting in some way, and the big. So then the next thing is, okay, so where do we go with this? And that's when I left. But I threw in, I love having those community classes because I think that is really a good way to bring in the community. I mean, they're free. And so lots of people will come.
Debbie, will those be every Sunday?
We could do them every Sunday. It's up to you guys because you guys would be the ones who I would see teaching it. If you want to do it right now, I've definitely set up for every time we have one of these weekends, but they're really open. They're just
Cool.
open, like they have a good model in that they started just to kind of get their feet on the ground and feel how the space felt with people coming in. I have really small classes. I don't know if you didn't meet her, she weren't there, but one of the people that she and this other guy, the only 2 people that come to my class, and for her, there's only the same guy that comes to my class goes to her class. But I wish you guys could have stayed and listened to them because it was really, we each told our journey to yoga, and her journey was super cool, and it's really fun to see how everybody just really, really wants to bring in more people from different hers was from weaving. She's a weaver, and so the artist that she was working with wanted her to share yoga with them because she was practicing our own a little bit, and so that's how she got into it. But everybody, we're all bringing. That's the whole idea of yoga is that we all have a dharma that we're supposed to. I don't mean to dump this on you right now. But yoga philosophy, we all have a dharma, a combination of skills. Kind of like we're talking about the combination of we have a combination of skills that they're needed by the work, and it's kind of our duty to discover our dharma. So when people say, it's bad to have ego. One of you guys was talking about this and they explained that they knew that it's not that. But some people think because the 3rd chakra is about ego and about having a strong ego, but that doesn't mean that you're separate from other people, but more importantly that you have a dharma to give to other people. Ego, I think lots of times we think of it as the idea that we're better than other people, but really somebody with a healthy ego doesn't believe that, nor do they believe they're less. They believe they understand that they are important for, bringing the gift. And I think that's really important and empowering for people, and why people start feeling that connection, like you're all talking about, that community, and feeling and seeing that it's not just little yogis running around. The stereotype is always, whatever, little white girls running around in Lululemon type. It's not that at all. And yeah, so it's nice to realize that yoga is much more than that, but we embrace. I was really excited to hear Sean say he has done shamanic work. It's like, oh yeah, that's really interesting to me. And I'm sure you all have different backgrounds. You ballet, maybe that's something that in some ways is the grace, and I don't know. I'm sure there's things that you learn from ballet that are probably really interesting and powerful. So, yeah, hiker, I guess it's what you're into. Yeah, I have this book. I didn't bring it, but it's Yoga for Hiking.
I manage
about that.
I manage a nonprofit that takes breast cancer survivors on mountain climbs.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is it Hike to Heal?
Expedition Inspiration.
Oh,
Hike
okay.
to Heal, we're super close with them.
Okay, because I've done
Have you? Yeah. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's so see connections.
Yeah, they should.
River just
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing I wanted to ask is there something that you feel that because we're kind of closing in, I know this is a quick trip to Miami and we'll continue to always be be discussing anatomy, but is there something in particular, a place that you'd like to go to get a little bit more community work? You know, there's all kinds of videos. You can get stuff online, I mean online, but from our online platform and all that. But is there something that you feel you'd like to point towards? I was thinking, because Sean had mentioned injury prevention.
Yeah.
A little bit. So, yeah, I that's what this stuff is about. Talk about now. Anything else anybody has a yearning to know? We're moving into asana next month, and so asana, I can assure you, will be taking the basic asanas that we have to learn, the required asanas, which really the main thing I did was just try to get a grouping from each of the kind of major categories: spinal extensions, flexions, twists, and some different standing poses that are pretty classically listed in most any practice you go to. So that's what we'll be using. They're in your fundamentals asana little packet. I don't know if you've ever seen that yet, but it has, you know, different asanas that I'd like you to know. And I don't know that I bought this one packet. When I originally had this practice, this school, I had this kind of, because it was all in a manual, and I had this kind of, there's a list of 27 poses, and then I had a picture of what to say. Okay, and I have it. Do you all have it? Do you guys? Is it in it?
Is it in course 3?
It's in course 3, so maybe you haven't looked yet.
I haven't seen it.
You have seen it. Okay, good. Because I at first omitted it, and I couldn't quite remember if I put it back in. The reason I omitted it because I was being a real big meanie, and I was like, no, I want people to come up with their own. So I started giving you guys this blank sheet of paper. Like, so, and then you had to do it all yourself. You had to write in that stuff. But then I decided, well, why not do it? We're going to give you that you can look at and think about, but then, and so if any of you, you know me, I'm trying to get rid of my paper. So if anybody does want to take one of these, I guess I didn't only brought 2 or 3 with me, but these are the packets that are just plain sheets of paper, and that you go in and you write down what you come up with the things like this. Well, I have the asana name in Sanskrit and phonetics. And where could I find information about it on each of the 3 books? What's the English translation? Is there a mythological origin, the contraindications, etc., etc. So these are good little things to have with you, even though you have that other one in there, I'm pretty sure, to take this and just start journaling that. The reason I do this is because when I started out in my teacher training very, very long ago, I started journaling, and I have journals of every shape and color, and just through the decades of my life, I just kept journals. But the problem is now I have hundreds of journals, and I sometimes have brought them into a practice like this with a group of students and just had them, and I might still do it, but you know, had people pick one out and go and just start reading and, you know, just share different things. But if I were to say, well, I want something new to do with triangle, it would take me forever to go through all those journals. So this kind of thing I would see as a really good place, really good thing to put in like a binder and just have triangle. And then there, anytime you go to a workshop or hear something about that pose, you can stick it in there. Or maybe you're more of a, you can do it on your computer, you know, but you just save everything. I could never do that. And it's kind of hard when you're going to a public class to, you know, be typing on your phone or whatever. So that's something I just wanted to kind of alert you to, that as we enter this period of asana, that getting some kind of organizational way to keep your notes would be a good idea.
Can I have a copy? Because I have the closed circuit TV. I can go home and
Yep.
magnify it.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I can send anybody a PDF of this if it's in there. I think I did go ahead and decide to go ahead and put it on the, and you think you've seen
I
it.
think so.
Yeah. It has little drawings. I did those drawings myself, so I could copyright. But there's some I had to correct and be like, because I have a forward fold Paschimottanasana, the person going like this, and so then I had to, because I probably early on, that's the way I was taught to do it. But I had to, no, you do it like this. So
I guess one question I have, Debbie, regarding just the anatomy of how much of the actual precise anatomy do we need to memorize? Because that was something where I was like, maybe I should be making flashcards or things to remember.
You don't have to memorize anything at all. The main thing is to understand the concept. So that's the most important thing. And then from those concepts, start building in as it makes sense to you to move in names.
Okay.
Personally, I've always thought that when a teacher comes in and says, I want you to focus on your Gracilius, and then, we're going to talk about the concomitant action in your piriformis, I just think,
What exactly?
and A, who knows, and then B, you're in a class, everybody, when they first walk into your class, perhaps shouldn't be, but you can be, you're thinking about other things. You're not, it's like I'm learning Spanish, as I keep reminding everybody, but, and I know pretty much I can conjugate, like 12 different conjugations, but if somebody came in here and said, oh, let's speak Spanish together now, I would just be like, I wouldn't be able to do anything. So you want to say things like because you've taken a lot of anatomy, right? Yeah, you even you. If I'm sure if someone starts naming things, you'd be like, just say inner thigh, or just say,
And then neither of those two words.
yeah. I know this one because I damaged it. So then you're kind of like, oh yeah, I know that one. But it's better to know things like that. So to answer your question, more the general concepts, and then the other stuff will start flowing in. And I think it's exclusionary is where I was going with that big tirade. I think for people to walk into a class and have a teacher doing that, it's not very inviting. It doesn't make them feel very welcome. So the other thing is, when I heard that noise, I'm like, where's the key? Do you remember me being worried about the key? She put it back in there. So then Sanskrit, I'm going to use the way I was taught Sanskrit. Also, when I first moved here with my vinyasa background, we didn't have to learn Sanskrit. We learned, airplane pose would be warrior and stuff like that. So it really made me uncomfortable. Like, are you saying I'm not a yogi just because I don't know these names? What's the deal? And so I think it's great to use them to say Gracilius. You say your inner thigh, but you don't have to make people feel dumb because they don't know. Yeah, that's not at all. So keep that in mind. It's good to know generally how your knees and your joints, your shoulders, things like that work. Your spine is really important to know how that's going to work. Do you have to know? It is good to know breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Although I've never eaten dinner at 5 o'clock, but still, yeah. So it's just good to kind of know the general things. And here's another thing. Just like in Spanish, if you're speaking Spanish from Spain, it sounds different than Spanish from Latin America. If you learn Sanskrit from one part of India, it's Sanskrit. If you learn it from another part, it's Sanskrit. And I'm only saying that because I'm making fun of my husband who's from St. Louis, so he talks like that. I'm not like that, but it's a weird accent. So anyway, I hope.
But it is, because I found myself in that first course as well, trying to digest all that information and being like the perfectionist type A person. I was like, well, I need to know all of these things and all the details. Nice to give myself grace.
Yeah. It'll definitely come. It's kind of nice. I know, is anybody here from massage school? You do a lot of times, and you probably had to learn a little bit in the origin and the insertion of muscles. That can be helpful because it can be like, you'll know more about where the tendons are. But again, that makes sense just because of the action at the joint. And you're like, oh yeah, those are probably the places I should be more careful of.
Yeah.
Overstretching. See, what else was there? Was there something in what you were asking about that I wanted to? share, but it'll come to me later. And excuse my voice, I've been talking a lot today, and by the end of the day, I should have brought more water. But a little note to teachers, speaking of that, we're speaking of speaking, I actually have a little mini microphone that because she called them kind of like a little, Jane Fonda microphone thing like this that my husband bought me because I would come home after teaching all day, sounding like this, and it's a really good thing to get and to have. It helps people hear you, and it helps you so that when you do want to talk softer, people can still hear you because you're talking softer because you want to convey that, okay, let's relax now. But you still can hear, people can hear you well. So that's just something to think about. Okay, any other thoughts? Any of that kind of stuff?
I have a question, and this might be for a later lesson, but I was thinking about it today in Mariah's class of how we could do yin yoga for a population who maybe is in their older years and flexibility isn't as accessible, but how would we help stretch hip flexors? Because I was just thinking of having people get down like this might be a big ask.
That's a great question. And there probably should be a book written about it, to be honest, because I think that, well, I'm aging, and so we're all aging, and some ways are further down the line, and there's more and more of us, and we really, there's so much research that we can keep our mobility in our brain and in our body by continuing, especially strengthening as well, of course, but especially also keeping range of motion, because you just get rusty, kind of like, and literally rusty in our brain a little bit in the way, in our body and how it works. So yes, coming from my Healthy Brain book. Did you? Oh, good.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Love it.
So, okay, good.
What is that? What is the name of that book?
The Healthy Brain book by.
That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's good. I find it
Extremely insightful.
Yeah.
Made me want to eat better.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because when they tell Shelly, explain what's happening, you're like, yikes.
Yeah.
Why am I doing that to myself? I do not know why I haven't done this yet. When I was in the call at my studio, somebody gave me a list of these little miniature. Do you guys remember little G.I. Joes? Little plastic?
Yeah.
So they're called, did I already tell you guys?
No.
The GI, they're called GI yogis. And there were a set of these yogis doing yoga postures. And it's so great because you'll have got women doing this. So but you could see that you could take that shape and just flip it in orientation to space. You could put the arms against the wall and the feet on the ground. You could put the hands on the ground and the feet on the wall. You could there's so many different ways. And what I like about those little guys are army men. I had 2 younger brothers, so you can see that, okay, so getting on the floor is hard, difficult for people with injuries and older people, and, because they don't want to. So chair yoga is really great, and they have a lot of fun chair yoga stuff, but learning to be more innovative with it, I think, is great. Because coming down to where we are right now is difficult for a lot of people. So sitting on a mat is much harder than sitting in a chair, and actually for a lot of people in chair yoga, they can put their hand on a wall and do a lot of stuff, or they can put their hand on the chair and do a lot of stuff. But it's just getting down on the floor. And so,
Getting off.
well, actually, that's the main problem. It's not getting down. It's getting back up. And so, you can look at that and think, like, what was your pose you were doing?
I don't know what it's called, but it's stretching your hip flexor like this.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That pose is and again, different teachers call things different. That's kind of thunderbolt, but it's also, it could be part of the hero's pose, not hero's pose, Hanumanasana.
I was going to say pigeon. Kind of
Oh, and pigeon. Yeah, it actually does look more like pigeon, I'd say. But I was just thinking, most things, if you're doing them this way, that can bother people's knees for this. So just taking them around and bringing them, but now this is still not getting at your yeah. And so what you could do is what kind of stuff.
I'm thinking about being in a world where sitting is chronic, and so undoing all that sitting and trying to get right in here. A lot of the moves seem pretty complicated for hip flexors.
We don't have a chair, but I can do this. Let me check.
On the bench.
Yeah, I think I can still demonstrate without anything. So what I have students do, because that is a hard one, because the chair people are sitting like this most of the time. You can do all this kind of stuff, and you can lift their legs and do all that. But I have them sit on the chair. So here's the chair. Imagine a chair right here, underneath my butt, right here. And so this is now off the chair, and this is off the chair, but my butt is still back there. But I'm getting this right here. Or you could have them hold the chair here and be like kind of in a warrior one type of shape like this. Would be something that people like that could do. And then they just go to the other side. And then they can do stuff here standing up. So to stretch, you might just take their hands to the back of the chair and just kind of lean back a little bit like that. Or against a wall and just kind of lean back and look up. But there's many ways, and that would be there. I haven't seen too much written about that in chair yoga, but I think chair yoga is making a comeback. I think it's really, it's just helpful for so many people.
Will we cover a lot of the modifications in the next?
Yes, yeah. Because that's what that little toolbox, tool belt, whatever you want to say, fanny pack. Fanny pack. We want to get that fanny pack full of all kinds of. That is a better way to say it, isn't it, than toolbox? But no, it's probably toolbox. But there's a lot you can do for that. Put it coming up against a wall, and you have probably, depending on their mobility, you probably have to, kind of find out who could do this. It'd be better if your toe was on the thing like this. You could press forward to stretch that out. On your back, it's kind of hard. But what Mariah did today with the bolster under your hips, well, that's back down on the ground again. Never mind. But when she had to lay on the ground with the bolster under your hips, so that when what we're trying to do is increase the distance between the front of your hip here and the front of your knee. So what I'm doing right now, April, is I'm leaning back a little bit. Like I'm going to take a big yawn and just kind of lean back so that I can feel that front of the hip sitting a little bit.
Like come to the edge of the chair and then put their hands on the back of the chair and then like.
Yeah, that helps. That can be helpful too. And if they're pretty, that'd be a good stretch. If they're pretty, the people that I've been working with lately have been. I wouldn't trust. I mean, I don't know how to be trusted, but I'd be afraid that they might fall. But I actually saw this on. My husband was looking at this YouTube of this. He goes, I'm going to do that workout, because he was a really buff older guy, just all tatted up and really buff and no shirt and showing all his muscles and I don't know how old he said he was, 80 or something like that, and he was on the chair just doing all these kind of things, and he had the chair looks like you're saying like this, and his toes were way out, and he was doing kind of back push-ups like that. So that would be something that one could do, but a lot of people that are doing cheerleader, you become like, I don't know, you know. 'cause
I
you-
wonder if a yoga ball would have
a ball would be
one of those
great.
yoga balls, because you
Yeah.
can really like
Yeah,
move.
a ball would be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a show that used to be on NPR called The Splendid Table.
I love that. What is it called?
The Splendid Table.
Mhm.
And I can't remember her name, but
Lynn
she.
Rosette O'Casper.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she would challenge people. Yeah, I just used to love that. To challenge people to call in and say what was in their cabinet, what they had at home in their refrigerator. And they would have really random bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And so her challenge would be to come up with a recipe for those 4 items or something like that.
Gruyere.
Yeah. Hot dog.
Yeah.
But she could do it. And so that's a little bit like what hopefully we can do. It's just the way you're thinking right now is, okay, I want to increase the distance between my front hip bone. I want to bring my leg to extension, basically. But sometimes those words, if you're talking to another person, may not make sense. But I want to stretch the front of my hips to balance out the sitting all day. And like right now, this is feeling really good. I'm just going to sit here and just do this. But if they can't go into bridge pose, how do I get there? But as you understand the shapes, I mean, I think this guy even said injury prevention somewhere. Something about he's I know what he says. I don't need to look for too much. Something like before you do more advanced poses, like upward facing dog, even or wheel, or something like that. Make sure that you lead a class or in your own practice. You do the approximations first. So you kind of approximate, and then eventually build up to that pose. And he's saying even do that when you've been doing a back bend forever.
So can I even ask, even in that pose right there, watching you kind of do that extension in your spine,
Mhm.
how are you, like obviously the hip is what we're looking to open. How are you cueing so someone doesn't pinch their back as they're
I have different personal favorites at different times in my life. Right now, somebody told me that they really like magnetize your navel to your spine. And sometimes it's a backward pelvic tilt, but most people wouldn't know what that is. That's that wheel I was talking about spinning, the wheel where you take your tailbone up to your pubic bone, into your navel, and then back down. But navel to the spine, you usually can get it. Magnetizing is kind of a strong image to think about.
Yeah.
I don't think I taught a class with you all yet, but when I do a lot of prone back bends, I will have, that's laying on your belly, I'll have people imagine there's a little ladybug under your navel and you don't want to crush her. And, you want to keep your navel lifted. She just went right up into you. You're like, no. But little things like that, when you practice teaching, you can start walking around and you'll see what makes people, you can see people react to things. Some people say zip up your front belly. It's just for the people that you're with, it's going to make sense. Some people, I remember going through, when I first was doing teacher trainings, people were saying such flowery things. Everybody thought they had to talk about butterflies and unicorn. I mean, seriously, and talking this, I don't know. I mean, this is back in the 70s. It was kind of a weird time, I guess. But everybody's talking these real flowery things. Do what feels right to you. And there's people, I don't think it was you guys, but they were going around the group, I think in that teacher circle from Boise River Yoga. And one of the gals said, my mother always talked about, little butterflies. And I just wanted to talk like her. And so it's like, well, that's fair. Yeah. And you do what feels right to you. And so it can be ladybugs under your navel, it can be zipping up your pants, it could be whatever. But coming up with something that you're like, yeah, that's it. And it's a really important thing to say to people. And we talked about this Friday night a lot, that bond. And I think probably Angela talked about it a little bit. Yeah. Because, that's just where we dump out right there in the belly. And absolutely, when we start doing that, stretching, we can really jam up our low back.
She showed us it with the model,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of showed us the pelvic girdle as a bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and she talked about emptying the water out of the bowl
Oh, good.
or
Yeah.
filling it up.
Yeah.
And that was kind of an analogy of
I really like that. Yeah. And sometimes using a combination of cues is really
when
good.
when I hear about this, but then when she explained the water, like it really made sense to me.
Yeah.
That it is a bowl, and when you tip back, the water falls out.
Yeah.
When you fill it up.
Yeah.
It's you can visualize the shape of pelvic.
Yeah.
As that is happening.
And the thoracic bowl is the same way, because you can. So this is the back. I'm using my left hand to illustrate the back of the bowl. So if you fill backwards, you can see how that compares. It's going to dump out either way. The back body can sometimes feel. If you're flattening your too much and your tail's tucking under, you're going to be kind of like a lot of us sit all day. Where that lower belly, that lower back curve is almost too flattened. I mean, just try sitting with an axial lengthening as you're sitting here right now, and just notice, like, oh, yeah, I was kind of slouching there for a minute.
I loved how Angela said, like, the good posture, having your ears over your shoulders, over your knees, over your ankles. Like, having her simplify it in such a simple, beautiful way of like, oh, my ears over my shoulders made so much sense.
That's exactly it. We did that against the wall at the time. Yeah. So we did that. Was it here that we were doing it? They're just, because there's not a lot of wall space. But doing a few poses against the wall where you're like, oh, wow, I'm really like this, and you have that, and it's just great. And again, you don't have to know the names of all those muscles. You can just be like, my upper back is working right now, and that is helping my front body open up now. And my navel is pressing to my low back, and that's helping me not to compress my low back, or not to shoot my belly out. So, all those kind of things are great. And then we're sitting up nice and down. But that's a way better place to put your mental curiosity than memorizing things, memorizing muscle names. One of my favorite yoga teachers, I didn't even know who Jackie Chan was, but she had us doing Jackie Chan where we put our elbows in towards our waist, our palms are facing up. And I guess, do you guys know who Jackie Chan is? Mm-hmm. Okay, Kung Fu. So he would kind of go, kind of like a Kung Fu, Well, you said you did a little Qigong, didn't you? Yeah. I don't know if this is a Qigong, but
Probably is that.
Yeah. But you can just feel what's happening in your back and what's happening in your chest. And I was talking about the Oktoberfest server with the corset on and the big glasses of brew in her hands, holding it, and just feel how much more stable that feels than flopping forward. Yeah.
So you really do feel that open in your just through your
Yeah, which is really important for so many reasons. So another thing when you're teaching is, we were talking about this earlier, I think, it's just having people feel their own muscles and feel the tightness, when they're in place. And this is what we're trying to. Yeah, that's the hardest to me, the W. Come to Jackie Chan, pulling your elbows in, and then take your elbows out. Yeah.
Have your elbows tucked into your sides and then bring your hands out.
Your palms are facing up like you have glasses.
Like you're holding a tray.
Yeah, holding a little tray.
And then you feel it in your shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good thing to do, right?
It's a good thing.
Builds strength, but it's hard.
Yeah.
because we're so used to being hunched over.
It's kind of like the L, W,
Yes.
Y,
Yeah, totally.
I.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? L, W,
There's a T too.
T. That's what I'm missing. So
Okay,
it's
what-
L, W,
Yeah.
T,
Y.
Y.
When we learned it, she did them together.
Was this Angela did that?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to write that down. 'Cause I only knew about.
Yeah,
I know about
You're
the
good.
video.
go stretch it out, girl. Like a cheerleader move, and
Yeah.
then the Y and the A.
Yeah. I have to teach, by the way,
The first one was like L.
So the pulling the ladders.
Yeah. And then W was this. And then Y or T.
Yes, really.
yeah,
And then Y.
That's really. I think I yeah.
this reminds me, on March 8th, if you all are interested, and I'm sure it's free, Jump has me teaching 3 disco yoga classes at 4 o'clock. I think it's 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. And it's just for half an hour. And it's free to the public. And I'll have to put that in there. I'll definitely do that. But they have music. And
Where is that, Debbie?
it's at Jump.
That's oh,
Yeah, I don't remember if it's in the movie studio or in the Inspired studio. But family friendly. Bring people and it's free.
Okay, so it's a 4-part stretch for the trapezius.
Okay.
That's what it is. And it's L, T, W, Y. T is L, T, W is a pie.
W
T.
is more like that. Yep.
Yeah, W.
Y. Yep.
Okay, good.
And the trapezius is the triangular muscle.
Very
So-
good. and those are,
Where your shoulder blades
Yeah.
so it can be, some of them are really
Shoulders.
easy to retract your gluteus. Your gluteus you have. Yeah.
4, right?
Yeah, but then there's like parts of them. You know, your upper gluteus minimus, different things. You know, so that's again where the general, okay, what are the actions that are happening here, and how you feel. Yeah. Okay, so
I have a question for you. You had booked yesterday. Yoga as medicine.
Mhm.
Is that for like rehabbing, or is that for like if you have an upset stomach? No.
that book is actually really good. It's by because it's not just like that. It's by Timothy McCall, Dr. Timothy McCall, and it talks again more in generalities, which I like. He doesn't say, stomach ache, turn to page 4 and you'll learn what to do. He kind of does more. He has general things that are going to be helpful. And a lot of the main reason things are helpful. So the premise of the book is that yoga is very helpful for so much of what ails us, for dis-ease. And it's a lot because it is bringing us into that sympathetic response where we get to relax and we get to repair and we get to digest. And a lot of dis-ease and disease is caused because or exacerbated by stress. So it helps so many conditions just for that reason. But then he does go into some specific, a little bit more general. I mean, I love the book, and it's not just a cookbook. It's not like if you want to do this, you go to this page. It's more generally. He will say, okay, for these kinds of conditions, these kind of activities can be good. And I have the book if you want to borrow it and look at it and see if it looks like something you want to buy. I thought the general idea was just really good. It can be so helpful. And by yoga, it's really, remember, yoga is just, it's a product of lots of other things. So that's another thing too. By that I mean the shape someone could possibly say, the main thing about yoga that's different from so many other modalities is it's really focused on your nervous system and really, really working on stress reduction and stuff like that. I think other ones are too, but basically the moves that they have in it are helpful because they're also doing a lot of stress reduction.
Mhm.
Now, there's another book that I recommended to know that's called Back Care Basics that has some really great specific things. I mean, it is a little bit more like a cookbook. And
What's it called?
it's called it's called Back Care Basics by Mary Pulig, Dr. Mary Pulig, Pulig. And it goes through the most common back issues. That back care is probably one of the main reasons people will be referred to a yoga teacher because their book can help in so many ways. But they will have scoliosis, sciatica, blah, 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 blah. And they'll have a really nice specific, like some of the stuff that Mariah was doing was for sciatica, for some sciatica issues. And then it will have, really, she has the book. No, she has Relax, which is also another book I'll tell you about in a minute. But Back Care Basics by Mary Pulig, Mary Schultz Pulig, there's a Schultz in there too.
Mhm.
Anyway, it has exact routines coupled with, meditations and a lot of great cues. It's really good.
Is that book like from the 90s?
Yeah.
I think I have.
I have mine from then. It's just one of those
Yeah.
books that came out and everything. I also have from.
It has like a woman's body in front of her.
Am I
It's great. It's so great.
hearing the title?
Back Care Basics.
Oh my gosh, I need to find my hearing aids. I kept hearing back hair. Right?
Yeah.
People go to the doctor.
Did you get to?
Well, I knew I couldn't run. I'll figure it out later.
Yeah. My voice, I have been talking a lot.
Your body gets me.
People that's good comic relief.
You got the same thing. So,
Good, we're not picking up the C's.
well, maybe it's me, maybe I'm,
It's not you, it's the hearing aids that are on the floor at my house. I need to find
but
them.
it's the other good book that I recommend that you probably have, two of them, it is Relax and Renew. But it's last year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Relax and Renew is awesome as well. It's the best book on. Well, she wrote the book.
Judith who?
Lassiter, Lasader. Judith Lassiter. She is amazing. Anything she puts on YouTube,
Mhm.
watch it.
Okay.
Her daughter is now she's older than I am. I was really lucky. I got to do a lot of study with her. She actually used to come here to Boise because I was telling you that it was such a big Iyengar place, and she would come here and do workshops, and that's where I learned Relax and Renew techniques. And it's just restorative yoga, which is kind of some of the stuff that Mariah was doing today. It differs from yin a little bit in that yin is more about awakening the tissues around your joints, whereas Relax and Renew, restorative, is more about literally bringing you into that parasympathetic response. Just really.
And is that a specialty, Debbie, that you offer, the restorative and yin?
I do yin for sure, and restorative I should probably just kind of couple with that or add that onto it because they're different. They're not the same, but they work really, really well together. As does Yoga Nidra. I probably should change it to be called, because I keep talking about these big manuals I have like this, and somebody was talking about this awesome one, and I was like, what? My anatomy one. I mean, it was like this because I could keep collecting. But I have grouped Yin, restorative, and Yoga Nidra in one called the Quiet Practice.
Yeah.
And it was a workshop that I did a lot in the past when we were doing more workshops, but that would be a good, just full-on workshop that we could do.
Be amazing. Yeah.
We could do that next in the anatomy. I mean, in the asanas.
Awesome.
Because that is really awesome. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
And except for the yoga nidra is more of a meditation, but yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it's really great. It is what people need so much now. And then to mix it with some other modalities like sound. I was just doing a little bit of pounding because we used to go up and I'm like, well, let's try these, and it's kind of cool to just notice how that reverberation. Our bodies are really, you know, as long as somebody's doing it with some talent, I was just banging it, but if you really do it, Kimberly does sing.
Her classes are amazing.
Yeah.
The sound bowl?
Mhm.
Yeah, I liked what you did today.
Okay, it was the bowl. I was just putting it like that.
That was great.
It did it. So
It was great.
yeah, well, good. So yeah, thank you for these questions because they will help me direct that. Those are books that are helpful for you too. There's some books that you should have in your library because they never go.
I'm never gonna look at that back care basics the same
Trying to AI cover was coming. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you do Insight Timer. They have all the different bells on.
It's the great.
So you could literally have that app, and then when you wanted to break, you could hit,
Good idea.
and you have it on your phone. You always have that.
What is the upgrade?
Okay.
It's called Insight Timer.
Yeah.
They said I think.
No,
I mean, I don't think, maybe they changed it. I've had it forever.
Yeah, I have.
I think you can hear them, but to put like a sequence together.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You can just press them. They have so many like.
Well, mine. So I have a timer, and I have set timers. So if you want a thing every 5 minutes or something,
You
you could create your own timer. So I have 3 timers on my meditation. So I have a timer that starts, and then I have a timer that takes me out at 2 minutes.
It looks on your things like
And you can just
a
hit
golden
the-
bowl. It's like
Okay.
like a bowl, but it's golden. Hence a golden bowl.
That's a great idea for savasana.
So here, and if you just want to hit a boulder, you just hit it.
Ooh, this is such a good idea.
But you can create your timers for however many you want.
That would be nice for knowing when to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great for you because you want to
Really cool idea.
time.
That's a good idea.
Look at,
That's a really good idea.
we could just have a little plane right here. But anyway, it's great.
I don't. My bowls never sound like that when I play that. I have one. I bought it actually for one of my daughters. Loves sound, and she likes to put it on her belly, and we'll play it on her belly. Yeah, it's really neat. She loves it.
Well, good.
Well, I can bring it. You can
Yeah.
play with it. I'll bring it next time. It's fun to play with.
Well, these are good ideas, and I will do that next time we meet. I guess it's the 23rd, that weekend of March, 21st, 22nd, 23rd again, which is kind of weird, but because March only has 28 days, so that's how it worked out. Yeah.
February.
Oh, I'm going to Sri Lanka. So
Oh.
I will be here, and Kimberly will be here, and probably be teaching that weekend, and maybe Kathleen who did the yin program.
What's Kathleen's last name? Just out of
It
curiosity.
is Romito. Romito.
I think I've seen her name.
Yeah. So she was going to be called doctor because she retired, and she's kind of wanting to just not be associated with. I mean, it's not that she hates Western medicine, but she's
She's in a new place.
in a new place. Another really great book. I can't think of the author, but she and I have both of this. It's called Cure, and it's by a woman neurophysiologist or whatever. and she came from a strict, very Western medicine background, but she, like the other people we've been talking about, wanted to felt there was something missing, and so she took a journey where she went to a bunch of healing places. So, like the waters of Bali, I went to those in our Bali retreat, and Sri Lanka has them, probably back in, or, they're all over the Ganga River, just to study how and why these places seem to work for people. And the book is about the placebo effect, so there is the placebo effect, but there's more than that, is what she goes on to show, is that, yes, if you strongly believe that you're going to be cured by these waters, your brain's like, sweet, cool, let's send out the endorphins, let's send out the dopamine. We were talking about this, and if it, so that can be helpful, but then there's also other things that are helpful, helping heal you, that have to do with those places. But a lot of it is, when your doctor, thousands and thousands of people for decades have been saying these are healing waters, you're like, sweet, and your body's like, double sweet. So yeah, she has the proof as far as doing different kinds of controlled experiments, research to share that. So those are some books that they're just kind of fun extra readings, or even just to read an excerpt and get some ideas from it, if you do want to go in deeper. So I can talk a little bit more about injury prevention. We can also stand up and do some poses. What are you all feeling like doing?
Can we stand up and you tell us about get us in the correct and then show us?
Yeah, let's do that. So you might want your feet bare, but you might be fine. Just depends, just the stickiness of the mat. We did basic mountain on, kind of going over readings, and I'm just start forgetting them out. And plus I teach a lot of public classes, but then and I kind of do a lot of the same thing as far as, so as Angela was saying, when we're in mountain pose, you can put your back up, your heel's going to be a little bit away from the wall, to account for your hip. Keep that, because you don't want to be, pressing forward like that. So bring your heels comfortable distance away from the wall. It's going to depend on your own anatomy. And then bringing your back of your head and your shoulders, and then feel that bowl of your pelvic girdle leveling. What cue means something to you? Do you want to say navel to the spine? Do you want to say zip it up? Or this is the muscles action that Uddiyana Bandha, where your hip pointers draw together and lift up. That's the upward flying lock. And I think I told you that I had a teacher that talked about two chopsticks that emanate from your top of your ilium here down, up like this. Oh, it was down like this. No, it was up like this. It was right up towards your navel. So making that little V. So whatever makes sense to you, but it's drawing upward. Okay? And then for your Jalandhara Bandha, you kind of drop your chin down a little bit and feel like you have a mango between your chin and your chest. And then I haven't talked too much about your feet. You're looking the arch of your feet for your Pada Bandha, and then the pelvic floor for your root bandha, your Mula Bandha. Just feeling as you exhale that lift up from your arches, pelvic floor, low belly, actually your diaphragm, but that's not a bandha, in the back of your throat. Okay? And then just step away and feel that action again without the wall. And then you might also feel, if you want to go back to the wall, feel a little bit more your shoulder blades on the wall and the head of your arm bones moving back to forward. This thing is actually even better than a wall, because you can actually. And then true mountain pose, your palms are out like this. So, and this was also called Samastitihi in some places. In some places, feet together, Samastitihi. Tonga.
Sophie, do you find, I had a teacher that always cued mountain pose with my starting with their toes.
With
and
what?
engaging the move on with our toes first.
Yes, yeah,
Is that something that
yes. You can lift up from your pada bandha.
to get your arches and then
Yeah, and just feel that whole thing kind of emanating up. And then your heels, you can kind of, I like to talk about the inner and outer heel and the inner and upper foot too, so that there's balance. And I actually brought some stuff on feet because it's the foundation of everything. So we tend to have different things going on because of our own personal structure. A lot of women especially have different things going on with their feet. I think men probably do too, but yeah, just bunions or just injuries or whatever, but paying attention to that. And then while we're here, now, I think Mimi was already doing this a little bit. Try to do some of that work that you were just doing. Try to do your W.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And then go up to Y.
Oh.
Do you want to come over here?
Yeah.
I'll try this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because my arm might.
Yeah. And so just notice how much work is going on in your upper back. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this is just to get us started. So now we can have an idea of what's going on in our body. And there's so much great stuff you can do with people against wall with this, and then you could also then take it to having their hips on the wall, hinging forward here, and then doing it this way. This is the most I can do, you guys. I don't have all my, this shoulder's not working on all 9 cylinders. So can you feel that work? So what he's doing here, yeah, we're bending at the top of our legs and bending forward into flat back. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Bring your hips back. Good work. And then set your hips on the wall. And then attempt to bring your shoulder blades together there. Your shoulder blades, your rhomboids, pull the shoulder blades together.
It's interesting to feel though how you, if you're not engaging in your core, how easily you just sink off, collapse into that.
Yeah, and that bonus again. Yeah, arches, low belly, pelvic floor. I mean, they're all important. Yeah, you don't even have to do much just to do this stuff.
We could have a whole wall class.
Yeah.
Wall class yoga.
Yeah, I love the wall. And these walls, there's some walls here because there's still 2 over there. 2 people could be there, and all back here.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, I could do. But you could do it on the floor as well. It's just the army men,
Right.
like you can put people everywhere.
It's like when you learn organic chemistry,
Yeah.
the stereoisomers, they give you models
Yeah.
of the atoms so that you can physically see them. And when
Yeah.
you were talking about those little, I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's hard to like visualize unless you put it in 3D.
Yeah. It really is. Even little drawings. I've drawn stick figures before and turned them upside down. But when you see the little people in their little green outfits, little green army outfits. Okay, so now we can step away and we could all face, let's all just face this way. And just kind of feel that before you go into it. Feel that stuff you're doing. Now you don't have any.
We're doing the arm.
Yeah, we're going to do the arms like this. And take your head back, shoulder blades together, and just kind of pull up the bandhas. And then we're going to bend at the top of our legs, bend your knees, come into a half forward fold, just the walls behind your back, and see how that feels. Yeah, bend the knees.
Or not.
I think bend the knees slightly, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
Am I doing this correctly?
Yeah, you can bring your chest a little bit more, like parallel to the ground. Yeah. And then if you want, now go ahead and straighten your legs. But, okay, do you mind staying there? So, and maybe you could even touch April if she doesn't mind. I'm sure the same thing. So we want to keep, you're doing great. I'm just using you because you're here in the middle. So we want to keep this little straight natural curve.
Yeah.
But it's hard, isn't it? We want to round it. And that's why I said bending the knees helps, because if you straighten your legs too thin, it will, you're pretty flexible here. It could bring that back into a rounded position. Just like it does down.
When I bend my knee,
When you
bend
bend
it more. Is that better?
You're doing it. So, like, on mine. down.
Okay, so right.
So that's the answer. to the question.
I feel that.
Straight.
Okay.
And then, now what pose, if he were to take his arms straight out, what pose would he be in?
What?
If you were to bring his fingers and reach
I
towards the
think she
wall.
wants you to have that natural curve.
Those chair.
It's down dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they
They
think
help with that. He's down dog.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
That's natural.
And lift up your heels.
Natural beginners.
Okay, so when I bend in the back, okay, so if I'm going
Okay.
down like
Now
this,
let's do down dog.
and it's too straight, and I bend,
Yeah,
and then
you feel that natural curve
and that's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Okay. So, yeah, come up and down dog. And can you stay there just for a minute, Sean? So, to me, a really nice down dog because he has this natural curve, and he doesn't look like he's, sagging in his shoulders, and his heels are up. Now, he could put his heels down probably all the way to the ground if he wanted to do
No.
it. But I'm going to tell you something
It's like,
about me, all about me. I told you I have pins in my feet, and part of it, neat things, is because I was forcing my person to get my pins in. I was forcing my heels down to the ground all the time. 'Cause that's what they used to tell us to do, and that can actually, on some people, because it was on me, cause issues with your feet. So I was cued eventually to lift your heels up a little bit, like you're wearing stiletto heels, and feel more like you're stretching your heels towards the back of the mat rather than going down. So it's more lengthening your soles of your feet. So does everybody feel okay? April, yes, you can walk your hands forward towards the front of the mat a little bit towards my voice right here.
Okay.
Would it feel good for you to walk your hands forward just a teensy bit? Does that feel not good or good?
Good. It's a different stretch in the calves.
And then take these arms and roll them inward a little bit. How does that feel? Weird?
Better.
Okay. So could you come out of that and help me do this with people? No, not you, April. And so just kind of do that.
So,
Do-
okay, so go back.
Yeah, you go back down. And so you just kind of come up and do this kind of thing with people. You just kind of roll that under like that.
So we're tucking our elbows in towards our ears, kind of like turning them in towards our ears.
Just like that. Turn it out.
Oh, turning your elbows out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like that?
Like bend your elbows?
No, go back down. So go back down dog. And you're gonna feel this action right.
Interesting.
It's like it's external rotation.
Yeah.
It's like
This?
like that.
Oh,
But your hands are here.
mine are like
Yeah, mine are too.
okay. So I know.
So do the arms go like that?
I don't
Nope, the other way. So let's do this.
Oh, like this.
Do I move my hand?
Oh, okay.
So let's put your hands like this. Like we're doing down dog now. Feel like you're going out, but don't go out all the way. Don't
So you
walk.
see how I have her extend her?
Yeah. And Mariah said she did too.
Yeah,
So-
so the double or whatever you want to call it.
This is a really good pose to work on.
So when your hands are down, don't do that? Or
Hand, can you stay there again? Hands are just straight forward like before. Maybe a little bit. No. I'm sorry. Okay, now go up. You're gonna feel like you're swinging your hands out, but they're not gonna move.
Okay.
So let's do this. Your hands out. Yeah, that helps broaden your upper back. Does that feel weird?
Yes.
Does it feel hard or does it feel good?
Interesting.
Yeah.
When I usually do it, I'm like this, and what I think you're asking me to do is this.
And then to feel like this is pulling back.
That's cool to see that on you, Mimi. Because we can actually see you do that. We do it here.
So I usually do it like this, pushing through the shoulders. But what I'm supposed to do is open up the shoulders,
And feel like
pointing the elbows towards the
And
wall.
It's amazing when you do it. I can see it on your back.
Upper spine length.
Yes.
Less pressure on the shoulders, but more to think about.
Yeah, and that's why this can become meditation. But did you want to show me your elbows?
show me your, I can feel my vertebrae pop.
Yeah.
You? Oh, are you watching her?
Or
They look like they're rotated out too much.
No, you're the back. Fine.
Rotate
Rotate
it
it
out.
out. So she rotate that and then switch in. That's
Way
when
to
you'll
fall.
feel this crease.
Yeah, so your shoulders kind of go down.
Yeah.
So April, hands stay the same, but it's mostly in our shoulders and elbows where we're trying to make adjustments.
Go back.
So the pelvic here. So the inside of your
Yeah,
elbow is
very
going to
much.
twist towards
It's a
the
little
wall.
bit like we're doing
So
this.
kind of like
only, not your hands.
No,
Forward. It's a little bit like you're
So we're going down.
You can see, but that's
Yeah,
my shoulder.
but
Now
keeping
my
your
shoulders
hands
open.
still pointed.
If I had
Oh,
hands,
wow.
they'd be like this.
And that's
So I'm trying to have them open. Then
Open
bring it
your
here.
shoulders back
And
here.
here, like that.
How about this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so talk me through it. So it's kind of opening, okay, keeping my hands this way.
Yep.
But
You're
then
just
kind of,
pushing.
is that kind of a,
So why we're
Try
doing
to
this
drop your
action a
shoulders
little
back
bit
towards.
is we don't
And
want
it
to
might
sag in
help
the
if you
hip
move
joint, in
your
the shoulder.
feet up a little bit.
So that's part of it.
And push out of your shoulders.
Yeah.
And
So
now
that's
work on
what's
trying to
going
turn
on.
your elbow towards the front wall.
like that.
Yep.
That helps.
And creating more space.
You're audible.
Shoulders.
So most people, you better put your.
To try to figure this baby out.
Well, I'm not sure because your front shirt is kind of like coming up
Yeah, we can
towards
do-
your neck.
Well, hello.
Now you can do warrior two.
Okay.
Okay. Basic pose. And again, you can just, yeah, I'm gonna point this way this time so you don't have to always be in front. So this is the one where I'm like, so I'm like, you know, stand forward. And we were.
Oh, we wanted crescent pose.
Yeah, we didn't do this, did we?
I don't think so.
So what we're gonna do is come into what you feel in warrior two. I will say something, try not to have your knee go past your front ankle. It doesn't look like anybody's is. Oh, but sometimes, sorry, you're facing this way, April. Okay. Facing over here. So your right foot is facing the front of the room, and your back foot is kind of parallel or slightly turned in to the back. So you could take your left hip. I don't know if that's gonna be good for your body, but I'm just telling you the classic way, and then you'll go. No, that doesn't work for me if it doesn't.
I do see it.
Classically, your right foot is forward, your back foot is parallel to the back of your mat or slightly turned in. Okay, now from here, we're going to magnetize your navel to your spine, or whatever you want to call it. That's good. You're feeling that action, whatever. And then let's just go ahead and, let's take our arms down for a moment, just kind of straighten up our front right leg. Okay, now we're going to get our hips level, and you can just look at her, she's got hers level. Yep. Haley, that's it. Okay, now that gracilis I was telling you about, attaches here, inserts here, or originates here, and inserts here. So that's what this pose is kind of for, to stretch that. Let's keep our hands on our hips and just bend the right knee to the front of your ankle. Okay, now some people will be like, well, I could go further, in which case separate your feet more. Okay, so just that's one thing to know. Your back leg, you're going to feel like your back leg is pretty much as if it were in tree pose. You're pretty much doing tree pose, only your back leg's back. So there's ever so slight turning inward of your back leg. My chicken egg sandwich. That back leg, okay? Does that feel okay for everybody? And then you can add your arms.
Are you cueing Debbie too while we're here? Like, would this be a good spot to talk about a pelvic tilt?
It would be great.
Where
Oh,
you were
it'd be
lowering here.
It would be a little bit, you're gonna have to keep that bowl forward, back. Oh, okay, so here we go. So here we are in our thing Peter did. Right foot forward, left foot. Hips are level-ish. Let's try to make our hips exactly level to the ground. And now if it hurts, don't do it. But if it doesn't hurt, do it. And then feel that you're pressing into your pinky toe sides of your feet, your outer heels. Okay? Pull your navel in, and your right feel like coming underneath you a little bit more.
That feels like that's a good cue.
Yeah, Yeah, just a little, and you could even take your hand and kind of go like that. What your right leg if you want. Good.
Oh, Debbie, do people still talk about this inner spiral? Like, is that still a big cue for people?
I kind of think it is. The guy was kind of a jerk, but he's talking about the spiral.
Yeah.
The spiral here, that's a weird sound. The spiral here is
We're just holding this.
going. You can come up anytime you want.
5 cents.
Yeah. So this part here in front, so I'll show you. It's kind of going like this. It's spiraling outward. Okay. So and that's what the heel work. So you can say press on the heel and talk about spirals. And he's the one who talks about the loops here. So the loop of your pelvic floor, it's going to be a backward pelvic tilt. You're taking the top of your waist down to your tailbone. Tailbone moves forward towards your pubic bone, up to your navel, back across your back, and loops like that. Yeah. Now let's come up and get out for 1 second. Tell you something. Just did that bother anybody to have their hips level? Okay, because there's going to be some people that it will. So I think it's really important because there's an article when you get to asana that I wrote about this. They have found that there's a lot of women, especially when they get my age, obviously postmenopausal, that start having bones that are less dense. And so if they have been doing a lifetime of this, keeping their pelvic girdle level, then that sometimes for some women can have caused some deterioration of the bone there in that back here.
When you say level, what do you mean?
I mean, like my,
Show me what's not.
Here's not level.
Is it where you're kind of going like that?
You have this hip
it's like
pointed
look,
down.
like
This and that.
popping. That's another call April, but yeah, it's more of a
And then see
Like this is not level, this is level. Is
no,
that?
it's more like this. Let me show you.
Yeah.
So this is not level. What I'm doing, and I'll show you.
Oh, like you're putting,
Yeah.
you're moving your hips to
Mhm.
get the motion. Your hips need to
Like
be.
Elvis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sticking your hips out. So some people have to do that, or because it hurts. to be
If
like
it
that.
hurts, don't do it. We were forced.
Well, we held our babies on our
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Just walk around.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do one more thing. Well, Haley's here just because she's here. Another energy to think about is this back leg. So that she's got her right leg and it's kind of coming forward just a teensy bit. And we want to feel like this muscle is pushing back into your hamstring. You're gonna squeeze that a little bit and you're pushing that back. Can you feel that action too?
So this goes right here is the,
Warrior 2.
okay.
Virabhadrasana 2.
I had a teacher that would cue, that we're trying to squeeze our
Yes, you are.
together.
That's
and then
it. That's a great thing.
Yes.
What she said is a great bond.
That'd be
We
nice.
Not only were your toes and feel that arch, but also
Maybe
feel
the
like
quads
your
work a little.
heels
Maybe.
too.
Okay.
I'm sorry to cue her.
We're tightening up our
You guys have any questions back here?
How can you hurt yourself
really tightly here.
other than
So-
if you're not?
That's one question.
Right side would be straight and your left would be a little bit.
Okay,
Overstretching.
so my left leg a little bit.
Really, it's like,
Your knee
straight,
over
straight,
your
yeah.
ankle.
yeah.
And if
Also,
you notice
your feet
that
ride, a lot of people roll.
your, sorry, I'm
Not
the opposite of you, so I'm
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
think what's your left and what's my right.
So that's why cue the outer heel and like engaging your foot on it. That's why the bond.
I see a lot of people do it like their feet are like.
Try it the same way as you,
And
so
they're
I
not gonna
can
line
know
it. And
left.
that can't, it's a can't really.
Right, it's harder to do.
So
You
so
want
alignment is important.
your right foot to be the
And
one
other thing
kind
that
of
I'm gonna say is,
strong,
Okay.
turning into a forward.
like the tree pose.
Oh,
Your
like
left leg is gonna be bent.
As somebody said, you gotta
this.
do your
Oh, a
hands.
forward fold?
But you wanna make sure that your knee is over your
Yeah.
ankle.
Maybe in triangle.
Okay, I hope it is. My,
Oh, yeah. You,
my bone and knees kind of
instead of,
okay.
yeah.
And so doing this against the wall is a very great. Sat down to,
Yeah.
oh my, just, you know,
Yes.
this is a great pose to do against the wall.
And-
Kind of keeps you honest.
Then
Does that feel okay for you?
you wanna make sure that your hips are.
Go back to your mat.
I'm trying to sit my.
Yeah.
So-
Okay, let's do it on the wall.
Is that part of
arms in
A lot of
and
women may need.
I'm gonna come to the
mention their hips. Because
I know it's hard when I have the certification, when I become forward.
So you're supposed
yes.
to keep them
Let's
like
get
this,
make
right?
sure that you're not dumping your
Like,
chest
when they
over.
say-
What do you mean
that
squaring
you-
like
your
that?
Yeah.
Oh, but you're supposed to keep them naturally on the flow.
Exactly. But some people, they'll feel pain and they will need to, can you lean forward again, like, well, no, this. You can lean forward like this. So do this a little bit like this, which is leaning forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what I'm saying is,
Mhm.
some people, that's what, kind of like what Jason Crandall said, sometimes people, you should be in warrior 1.5 instead of warrior 1. The same thing here. Some people should lean forward. I just think it's important to mention that because it does cause injuries.